Welcome to Creative Home Projects YouTube channel, and thank you for joining with us. In today's video, we want to demonstrate what you must consider before you build your farm structures. I mean poultry farm structures. For instance, we are suggesting a farm structure plan that one needs to earn $300 per month. That's approximately 1 million Ugandan shillings per month. Of course, one can scale up and earn more than that. Therefore, stick around and watch this video until the end so that you don't miss how we can build farm structures that will profit our poultry keeping projects. And if you don't mind, let's begin. One of our precious things that we must value always are figures. You know, it is always important that we be value minded. We look at what value is in what we are going to be doing maybe in our project. So our factor number one is a constraint, and we have fixed it at 1 million Ugandan shillings. That's $300. So what we are saying is whatever farm structure that we must build, we really need to earn 1 million Ugandan shillings. That's $300 per month, or that should be our monthly income. And so we must fix it at that and think about it as we construct our farm structures. Let's try to zero it down to what it takes for us to earn that amount. And from experience, we shall need to sell 100 broiler chicken per month for us to be in position to earn that $300. To make it a bit simpler, one will need to sell 3 to 4 chicken per day so that they can be in position to sell all the 100 in 1 month. And all this is intended to achieve that monthly income that we have indicated in one of the factors that we have considered to construct our poultry farm structures. Of course, we must be mindful of the cost or the price of our product, which is the 5-month-old broiler chicken. And from the previous discussions that we have had, we have seen the price of our product can potentially range from 20,000 Ugandan shillings to 40,000 Ugandan shillings, depending on the market that you have. And those other values are the equivalent of the prices in US dollars. So it will range from 5.7 US dollars to around 11 US dollars. And we have been too calculative of the potential profit. And if you can sell your chicken at 20,000 Ugandan shillings, that's around 5.7 US dollars, you will potentially make 114 US dollars, which is an equivalent of 399,000 Ugandan shillings. And of course, if you make it sell it or sell your chicken, each of them at 7.1 US dollars, which is 25k Ugandan shillings, you'll potentially make a profit of 257 US dollars, which is around 899,500 Ugandan shillings. And if you make it sell your chicken at 30,000 Ugandan shillings, which is 8.6 US dollars, you'll potentially make 400 US dollars, which is an equivalent of 1.4 million Ugandan shillings. Now, when you make it sell your chicken at 35,000 Ugandan shillings, which is 10 US dollars, we expect to get a profit of 543 US dollars, which is an equivalent of 1.9 million Ugandan shillings. And if we can make it sell our chicken at 40,000, which is 11.4 US dollars, we must expect a profit of 685 US dollars, which is an approximate of 2.39 million Ugandan shillings. And from experience, on average, you can sell your local chicken or your broiler chicken between 25,000 to 30,000 Ugandan shillings. And so when we look at the average of the potential profit, we feel you can potentially make a profit of 1 million Ugandan shillings per month. And so we have based our calculation on these figures, which are realistic from the previous calculations that we have been making together here on this YouTube channel. So let's proceed to the next factor that we must consider, and it's none other than the breed of chicken. You know, it is always a hard task for farmers to choose on which breed of chicken are they going to consider, especially for starters. We have made it a bit simple for this case. We have already chosen we are going to be keeping broiler chicken, or one can choose the improved local chicken. They can equally give us the above monthly income. And so we have considered producing 100 local chicken or broiler chicken per month. And per month, I mean you'll keep stocking 100 every month, which simply means we shall need a farm structure that will support that. Then factor number 3 is the system of rearing chicken you have considered. And for us, we feel we are going to use deep litter system. But for you, you can choose any other depending on the factors around you. And then factor number 4, we want to calculate for the space requirement. How much space do we need to keep these 100 broiler chicken from day 1 up to 5 months? Remember, according to the plan, we said you are going to have these birds at different stages. So you need a space for keeping birds of 1 day up to 1 month. And then you need another space for keeping birds of 1 month up to 2 months. Then you need another space for keeping birds between 2 months and 3 months. And then you equally need space for keeping birds between 3 months up to 4 months. Then finally, you need more space to keep birds between 4 months and 5 months. So as we construct our farm structures, we must put this into consideration. And of course, for 1 day up to 1 month, it is typically a brooder, so we shall need to install all that it takes to make that space a brooder. And then from 4 to 5 months, it will be the selling time, so the birds will be at the selling stage. So we need to think about how that structure is going to look like. And for that case, therefore, we have made it a bit simpler. You will just need a space of 4 meters by 4 meters for your brooder. Of course, it is quite big. You know, this 4 by 4 can accommodate up to around 150 birds, but we feel we can have that allowance for cases of scaling up just a bit, you know, giving some simple scale up. And of course, we have considered equal space for the other portions, or for the other spaces that we need to keep the birds at these other stages. So it is going to be 4 by 4, 4 by 4, 4 by 4 meters throughout. And of course, for the last stage, which is between 4 months to 5 months, we can equally have some free range space. It is going to be very important for us to have where we can free range these birds. And now, after considering the space requirement, we want to think about the land. Is the land available going to accommodate all the above structures? And we want to assume that at least someone has some space or some land. And maybe for that person who has a very small land or small plot of land, we shall equally make something that suits that. But for this case, we assume that someone has some good size of land, so we have not taken it to be a very big factor here. So we assume someone has land to construct these structures. And of course, you see the above structures only take 20 meters by 4 when you just add up the above space requirement. And also you can have an equivalent of this, but that's not all. We still have more structures, so we have assumed land is available. But simply for the above structures, you need an area or a land piece which is of 80 square meters. That area of land, the dimensions can change, but it should be around 8 square meters and plus. Otherwise, you will have issues with space if you don't think about that. Then factor number 6 is going to be location. Where are you planning to locate your poultry house? Should it be in town? Should it be in the village? The whole issue is you should locate your poultry farm next to your customers, because we don't want to incur cost in transporting products from the farm to the customer. It is going to be an added expense which we don't want to incur, because we intend to maximize the profit. So we try as much as we can to keep around our market. And for our project of this kind, we always target hotels. And why hotels or even restaurants? These are customers which can be consistent, who can be consistent and buy from you the whole month. So you can pick up contracts with them and you start supplying them, and your market is going to be reliable. So we always target hotels and restaurants. And of course, when you have an individual customer once in a while, you can equally serve them, but we always prioritize restaurants and hotels. They are always reliable if we can get them. Then lastly, the other factor that we consider is the farm structure and costing. We have different farm structures that we must look at to make a sustainable poultry farm, and we are going to give a list of these farm structures that we need to make a successful poultry farm. And one of them are the poultry houses, that which we have talked about before. Then you need a feed store where you shall be keeping the feeds for your chicken, where you store the feeds. And then you need an office. In other terms, you can call it a reception. You need to reserve some space where you are always going to sit and plan for your poultry project. And remember, we have said we want to take it as our full-time job, so an office is relevant. And then we have what we call the farmer's house. It is a good practice constructing your living rooms around your poultry project, and this comes along with the kitchen. You have to have the kitchen around. You can include bathrooms in case they need to be separate. You need a toilet on your poultry farm. So all these structures are relevant if you must have your farmer's house at your poultry farm. Then we need the worker's house. This work can be hectic. Sometimes you need to recruit or employ somebody to work with you. So if you choose to do that, you will need to have space where they are going to stay. Then we have included the water system. Say they can be tanks or any other, where you are going to rely to supply the water into your poultry houses. And then we have the power systems. We can include them because we need power while brooding our poultry, and in many other activities that we do in the farm, you find that we need some power. So if need be, install some electricity, or even a solar system can work. And then we also need some fencing. and this comes with gates around. For issues with security, maybe biosecurity as well, so you need to include the fencing and the gates if possible. Then we have what we call support practices. There are some other practices you must engage in to have a successful poultry farm. Say we have plantations and gardens. You can plant trees as well. So these other practices are equally important. So you need to include these support practices. We also have what we call support systems, which are important as well, and these may include the feeders, the drinkers. These can also be regarded as structures because they need some structure mechanisms to be effected. So the list can be endless, but we feel with these few, you are going to have a successful poultry farm. Getting it from words, we have gone as far as making it, a sketch plan, and we feel we want to maintain the 1 million Ugandan shillings monthly income, which is the $300 monthly income as our constraint. Like we said, we are going to do a structure that will enable us achieve that monthly income. We feel this structure plan can easily be implemented, is cheap to achieve, and sustainable at the same time. You need a very small plot of land to achieve it, so we feel it is applicable for all those factors. For that first portion that we have marked, it is going to be two-storied. There are going to be two levels, and on the other first level, or the bottom space, is going to be our brooder, and then the other upper one is going to just be a 4x4 meter space where we can maybe just put any, but 100 can fit at any stage. Then this other second one is also a 4x4 down and up, so it is equally 4x4 up and down. This is also 4x4. You need to have a 4x4 up and down. There are actually now 6 spaces that we have considered, and these are going to be enough for our continuous production of our 100 broiler chicken or local chicken. You see, that space that we have included there is going to be for free range. We feel the birds of 4 months and 5, between 4 and 5 months, can equally be put on free range because we want to cut cost of feed, and as we cut cost of feed, we need that space. And of course, we imagine they have grown big, so they need more space. Then you need a toilet. You will need a toilet. It is very crucial that you need a toilet on your poultry farm. And then this can be our office or our reception. It can be our office or our reception. We plan to draw a 3-dimension plan of this farm structure, but this one we have considered it 2 dimensions. And then this one can be your feed store. We have properly located it. We feel here you can have your feed store, and this should be closed. Between there and there, it should be closed with some gate there. You need a gate for biosecurity. You need a gate there so that you keep your birds safe. And we feel you need a fence around your plot of land. It is relevant that you install a fence around your plot of land for issues of security, of course, and biosecurity at the same time. And for this farm structure, we feel this is one of the best positions where we can place our gate too. Remember, we have the other gate, which one can equally call the entrance into the poultry section. So that gate is relevant, especially for biosecurity. Then these other marks that you are seeing are for the trees. Depending on the space available, you need some few trees to keep that fresh air on the poultry farm. because we need that fresh air, so trees are relevant. You see this other whole space, we want to reserve this whole space to be the space for the farmer's house. We feel this space on this other side of the poultry house should be the farmer's house, and it comes along with the living rooms. Your farmer's house should have the living rooms, then you have the kitchen. You can include maybe the bathrooms, like we have said before. You include the bathrooms and maybe a few more other structures that you need in a typical home. So this can be the farmer's house space. It is very, very important to be around your project. Then this other last part that we have marked can be your worker's house. Why do we bring this worker's house the other side? We have given it an entrance from outside. We feel the worker's house should have another entrance on this other side. Mainly we intend that just to strengthen security of our birds, so we feel the workers can go as far as there, and we have the main gate here, and then we have the workers on this other side. You can keep it decent and keep it safe for them to stay, regardless of it being around the poultry houses. We feel the workers can stay there. Don't miss part 2 of these videos by subscribing to this channel plus hitting that notification bell so that you get notified each time you upload a new video. And in part 2, we want to look at how best we can make a 3-dimension plan for this poultry farm structure, just like what you are seeing, which has been our previous project, and it has been about the 4-acre model, trying to maximize production on 4-acre piece of land. We have done our best to draft that plan, and it is almost coming to an end, and we shall be presenting the results to you as well. But for this other previous farm structure, we want to make something like this, which can clearly show you how best you can implement your poultry farm project.